I feel like going back to Berserk for this video because a lot of you liked my previous Berserk videos and have been requesting it. I'd like to go through each arc and dissect it, reliving it and hopefully shedding some new insight on this amazing story. First, I'd like to start from the beginning. Or well, not actually the beginning per se. The Black Swordsman Arc is shown in the first 3 volumes of Berserk along with the first episode of the 1997 anime. This arc takes place after the events of the following arc, which is known as the Golden Age arc. During the Black Swordsman arc, we don't learn anything specific, except that Guts is really strong and good at killing demons. And he really hates Griffith. So when we get into the Golden Age arc, we already know that something goes down between Guts and Griffith, and that it isn't gonna end well. We also wonder what happened to the other characters, and how did the world end up like this? But why is Berserk presented this way? Why is it out of order? Did we really need to start the story having minor spoilers? Would it have been better if it just began in order like the film trilogy? That just covers the Golden Age arc in order and completely skips the Black Swordsman arc? Or is the Berserk manga and anime perfect the way it is? It's well known that the Black Swordsman arc stands out a bit as the black sheep to the rest of the arcs. Some will even tell you to skip it, and that when Kentaro Miura was writing it, he was still figuring things out. Some of the choices that the main character Guts makes seem a bit out of character and doesn't really make sense.
That's gotta hurt.
Especially when we see how things began. It almost seems like Miura had a very different vision for the story at one point, and maybe he just wanted to write something edgy and shocking. All this could be true as every writer struggles at first to find their vision for where the story will go. And unlike novels, in manga, there's no going back. Whatever chapter or volume releases, it's a done deal. But I'd like to believe and argue otherwise. Guts in the Black Swordsman arc is not at all what he was in the Golden Age arc, which takes place before this. He's missing an eye, an arm, and he's incredibly angry. He's also much stronger and wields an even bigger sword.
It was far too large to be called a sword. Massive, thick, heavy, and far too rough. Indeed, it was more like a hulking mass of iron.
He has a crossbow gun and a hand cannon. Right from the beginning, curiosity is created. Not because we want to know whether or not Guts survives, but because we know he went through something unimaginable. And already knowing that he's a survivor, we become more invested in his character. We are all survivors after all, and we can all relate. The Berserk story is centered around struggling. Every character depicted struggles against something. The Band of the Hawk fights in order to attain fame and riches, but they struggle because of their low class. Casca struggles for a number of reasons, but the biggest is knowing that she loves Griffith, but can never have him because he needs a princess in order to achieve his dream. Griffith struggles knowing that he must stand on the corpses of his friends in order to achieve his dream of having a kingdom. Guts struggles most of all, being born thinking that he was a curse on society and always just wanting to fit in somewhere. He finally finds friends, just to lose them in the most horrific way possible. Most important is that all the characters in Berserk are fighting against fate, and the manga and anime makes the audience a struggler too. Right from the beginning, thanks to the Black Swordsman arc, we know that these characters that we have fallen in love with will meet a terrible fate. It's like knowing some horrible prophecy and being powerless to do anything to prevent it. Fate is the central theme of Berserk, and one that is told very well. The 1997 anime even reminds us of fate before each episode begins. With the Black Swordsman arc being put in place before everything else, a type of atmosphere is already put in place. One of dread that kills our hopes and dreams from the very beginning. These opening chapters also help set the tone of Berserk, helping to establish the world and the characters. You know that Guts survives, but not in one piece. It encourages you to keep reading on and find out what really happened. But most important of all is it shows us that fate cannot be beaten. Just like in real life, some things will always be out of our control.
In this world, is the destiny of mankind controlled by some transcendental entity or law? Is it like the hand of God hovering above? At least it is true that man has no control, even over his own will.
I remember when I first heard about Berserk. The 1997 anime was sitting at number 1 on the list of greatest animes of all time. I'll never forget the description in that review, warning me that really bad things happen, and that the story is a tragedy. That sense of dread followed me throughout every one of those episodes. Another interesting aspect of that review was that it said the first episode of Berserk is its last. So I remember throughout the entire show trying to piece together that opening episode and match it with everything else, and it just seemed so far away until everything clicked into place. That sense of being filled with dread before anything even happened filled me with more excitement and made me obsessed with finding out what would happen next. I also remember feeling grief for the characters, knowing that fate isn't going to be kind to them. Another important aspect of the Black Swordsman arc is without it, the plot twist during the eclipse might seem impossible and coming out of left field. Almost everything leading up to that moment seemed very grounded in reality with a medieval setting. Sure, there was Zod, but still the world didn't really have many fantasy elements. Showing from the beginning that fairies and demons exist in this world makes the eclipse sequence seem more believable. Of course, there is always a counter argument, and the good one is that Guts and the other characters had never seen demons before, so the audience would be expressing the same revelation as the characters. At least we do have a version of the story that's like this, and that's through the film trilogy. One last point I'd like to make about the Black Swordsman arc is that the reason Guts acts so out of character is because we're seeing him at the worst point in his life. It's like meeting someone for the first time right before finals week. They just really aren't being themselves. For us to get a small glimpse of a character that we almost despise, then get to see them before all of this and see how different they were, it's very engaging. It makes us wonder what could have happened to change someone like this. We're all strugglers, trying to survive in each of our own environments. Events change us, but we'll keep adapting and transforming until we reach a version of ourselves that is better adapted to our world, making life easier. Keep on struggling, and know a better version of yourself is out there, waiting for you. All you have to do is struggle a little more. Thanks for watching.